Look at it. She bought that. Period.
What's the craziest conspiracy theory you think about, but you wouldn't tell nobody?
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
You got one tapped in? Craziest conspiracy theory.
I can't.
Pizzagate. They all did that shit. They got the island. Yeah. Bill Gates. Goddamn. The first lady. Goddamn the Trump. Yeah. All of them. They tapped in.
Hey, Mike, what's your worst breakup story?
My worst breakup story? I caught him in bed cheating and I whooped that.
Oh, man. That's sad.
Hey.
All right, next question. What's heavier, a pound of pillows or a pound of pennies?
A pound of pennies.
Pound of pennies. This is the last one.
He can't even say it. He's getting down.
I'm not going to answer that question.
To the New Normal Podcast. I want to tell everybody thank y'all for tuning in. This is a place where we say what everybody is thinking. Today I got a high-powered podcast, and I said high power because if y'all haven't noticed, Princella has been making a tear through these streets, and that's what she call her podcast, and we know it is not high power, but me and J Mac will get back on part 2 when we get ready to discuss that. I got the homie with me tonight, J Mac. I'm gonna bring her up on the screen, let her introduce herself so we can get this ball rolling. I'm gonna tell y'all what the topic is after she introduces herself.
What's going on, everybody? It is J Mac from the Tough Topics podcast. And just happy to be here tonight with Sid at the New Normal podcast. And yes, we do have to do a part 2 to the Princella Clark video for sure. But yeah, we're gonna have a really nice roast session tonight. I really can't wait. It's gonna be a whole event.
Oh yeah. So tonight we're gonna be talking about some good topics that's making their way through these YouTube and just the streets in general. We're gonna be talking about the brick lady. And the reason I want to get on this brick lady, one reason is because I don't have 1,000 followers on TikTok yet. And on TikTok, it's making me sick seeing how many people have gone with this narrative or ran with this narrative that black men don't protect black women. We know that's a false narrative. We know it's J Mac over there. We know that's a false narrative. I want to know how you feel about that, J Mac. Do you think it's a false narrative?
Not me being country. Yes, I think it's a false narrative that black men don't protect black women. The issue is it's slowing down because of the types of situations that black women are putting themselves in. Like a black man would be inclined to protect his own lady and to protect somebody if she genuinely was in like duress and it was like totally not at the behest of something she did. I think that those types of men definitely still do exist among all races, but even definitely within black men. But when you're inciting an issue as a black woman, and you expect a black man to come to your rescue, well, that's insane to expect that in this social climate that we're in, where all black women do is basically say that black men are the scum of the earth. So, and of course, I know you're going to mention the brick lady. I mean, she definitely has had some very questionable thoughts about black men. So one has to wonder why would she assume that they would come to help her?
Right. I say this, you being protected by a black man comes from two people. Your father, when you're under his covering before you leave his house, and your husband when he hands you off on your wedding day. But since black women say they don't need a man, that they're independent, that they don't want to get married, that they don't want bums, that black men are stupid, y'all are more educated, that black men are bullet catchers, and all of this, talking points and rhetoric that black women say, there is no reason for black men to ever come to save black women at any time for any reason unless it's his lady. It's to the point now where you have people who say, it's like when people say, I don't believe in Jesus, I don't believe in Jesus, I don't believe in Jesus, and then you get on their deathbed and call for Jesus. It's kind of the same. It's kind of the same thing. It's like black women. They say they don't need a man. They don't need a man, and all of a sudden she got hit with a brick and saying, "All these niggas standing around, they ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing a thing." Like, bro, what you just said in a previous post, you didn't need men. So make up your mind. What is it? Do you need men or do you not need men?
Exactly. And it's funny how that's always how it happens, right? It's always a situation where they end up needing the same men that they spend all their time ragging on. Like you mentioned, that's a good example with Jesus. People want to rag on Jesus and Christianity all the time until something pop off. Then they want to get the hollering, Lord, Lord. And we already know what the Bible says about folks like that.
Oh yeah. And so I'm gonna play a video of this dude that said, I got a couple of videos of this woman, right? And I'm gonna play this one. I think this is the one I want to play. Let me she up here in y'all. Hold on, let me stop the screen and start this one on TikTok.
Look, since you playing something, I got time to stop my camera.
Let's play this one.
What have I ever done to anybody in my life to deserve this? I never did anything in my life to hurt anybody.
This one good.
Yo, this man just hit me in my face with a brick, and all these black men just what?
I gotta ask a question. Why in the world you slap somebody and then start twerking? It's always seemed like at this point, black women have to put their ass in the camera and twerk. I don't understand how slapping and twerking goes hand in hand, but that was a weird progression of events in 2 seconds.
They're just clowns and weirdos, and like they need psychological help, and we never address this part seriously enough. The behaviors that we're seeing are from unhinged people, and instead of advising that these people get the help that they clearly need, people always laughing at it and hyping it up. Like that's just an unhinged individual.
Right. And the crazy part, who gonna see them? Because black women gonna look for black women, and we know about the crazy therapist lady and all the other black women that have been coming out speaking against black men and saying, disparaging stuff against black men. So who would be the proper therapist to help women when it comes to talking about their issues and that they're going through, and not pacify them and tell them they're queen, mother goddesses, cocoa butter princesses, and all of this like Dr. Umar does? Who's going to help them?
Exactly, because wait, what you say about Dr. Umar, Queen Coco Goddess? What did he be saying?
Cocoa butter goddess. That's what he be saying. My Nubian princess and all this. Like, what's crazy? That like even when Tupac said, even as a crack fiend, mama, you was always my black queen. That junk is crazy that we can still, and I blame this on us as black people. We don't want to have this issue or this talk about classism. There is a thing where it's some people who are better than other people. Some people live a different lifestyle. There's a difference between some cheap sheets you get from Walmart, then you start getting up to 3,000 count sheets. It just feels different. Same thing with certain cars. Certain cars, you a 0 to 60 in a Toyota and 0 to 60 in a Vet is just totally different. You know what I'm saying? And us as black people want to try to admit or try to keep us all on the same playing field and level. But some people are smarter than others. Some people are more talented than others. Hell, I would be a fool to say LeBron James doesn't jump higher than me. You know what I'm saying? But we all want to have this idea, oh, well, if they can do it, you can do it. No, like God bless me with this talent. God bless me with these ideas. God bless me with these hands. God bless me with my networking. God bless me to be different than you. And as black people, we always want to act like everybody's the same, especially when people make it to a certain level. Like it's crazy that a LeBron James still has to sing down to black people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and then like you mentioned, I think it comes from probably our history in this country with slavery, Jim Crow, and all those types of things, where there was an equal playing field for so long. But now that we've been fully integrated into society, such is just not the case anymore. And I don't like when people can't adapt. Like, just adapt to the current social climate. And you said you're a homeowner. You are a married homeowner with children. And you know what I'm saying? You don't have a family on the other side of town. You are in another caliber of men that people, you know what I'm saying? So every black man, every black woman, every black person is not the same. And we do this thing where we don't like to separate ourselves from our lowest hanging fruit. White people don't mind it. White people don't like they don't let their crackhead cousins and uncles be all in the forefront and stuff. They hide them. They're embarrassed of that. But black people have an issue with just, I don't know, it's okay to have shame. It's okay to want to surround yourself with a certain echelon of people. And that's not to be bougie. That's just a sense of, you know, I live a different lifestyle than you. We clearly aren't on the same page.
Right. Now let me continue to play the video.
What? And they don't give a fuck. Yeah, this man hit me, fucking grabbed a rock, and it hit me in my fucking face because I would have given him my number. And all y'all just fucking watch. Y'all see that shit? Y'all see that shit?
I'm going to tell y'all, black men. Y'all need to watch out. Get your popcorn and enjoy the show, because you're going to start seeing a lot of black women getting stoned. This is what happened in this video. She got stoned. And if we watch the video of the guy that said he was there, said this woman is a nuisance in this community and neighborhood. Even when we watched the other clips, and I don't know if those were actual clips of her slapping the white man, like she did it, but I don't know if it was a skit or something that was a real thing of her just going up to slap, you know, just random white people. And I even seen in the comments on TikTok where a black man was saying, well, you could tell this person is a nuisance because she's slapping white people. And there was multiple comments from black women saying, what's wrong with slapping white people? And I'm like, if y'all think like this and y'all going out here to do these type of things, black men, y'all need to watch out, because they're causing issues and they want you to be able to come and fight their battles. The only reason they can think something like that is possible because we know for the last 50, 60 years, black women have controlled the black community and these boys that they raise. So when they mama have problems with their boyfriends or multiple boyfriends and they have an issue, the first people they call are their son husbands to handle their boyfriends when they have an issue with them. And so that's what's happening. A lot of times these women have issues and now they want to call on the very men that they degrade and talk bad about. And like I said, this woman got stoned and nobody's here to protect her. What'd you say?
Oh, no, I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. That's what the comment section talking about. Richard Owens rock out. Warren Perkins. It's like the biblical days when people do shameful stuff, they get stoned to death, right? Your single mama household, yeah. So y'all make sure y'all like the video. If y'all watching, y'all make sure y'all like the video. Let me continue playing.
What do y'all do? I want y'all to be a man. I want y'all to be a man and fucking do something. Y'all gonna let a man hit me in my face? Man, fuck all y'all niggas. I don't want to stop.
And you know what's crazy? Because I'm finna start on my Rumble account, but I got so many videos I just been saving. I'm just gonna do a blitz month on Rumble stuff I want to do. But there was another video similar to this with the same attitude where there was where black women were surrounding this black man, where they were watching this black man in the street in California, where the police kept telling this black man to put the gun down. He did. They end up killing him. And then the black woman runs up to this man laying on the pavement and put the phone in the man they just shot. And the police run up and tell her, get out the way. It's a crime scene. She's still belligerent, talking to the man, saying, the police saying, no, you just made it a crime scene. What's crazy about that is you just literally seen us kill somebody and you still want to act like this. Now, this woman in this video just said she got hit with a brick and she's still talking cash money shit to these men out here. Like, you ain't learned your lesson from the first brick. Do we need 2, 3, 4, 5 bricks for you actually to shut up out of here? Like, this
That's
is
how you know. That's how you know it's because any feminine woman who was genuinely frightened. I can't imagine how frightened I would be if a man had just assaulted me with any sort of weapon or any sort of item. The first thing I would have been doing is, of course, calling the police. I would have been inconsolable, et cetera, et cetera. But her demeanor and her choice to record this as a first thought just goes to show that this situation is probably not not at all what she presented to us in those first few moments.
right. And like I said, what happens is it just keeps this narrative of that black men don't protect black women. And I will say you should not protect any woman that is not your mother and your wife and your children. And I would still question if it's your mother, especially if you have a family. You're supposed to leave and cleave. So if your mama out here in these streets getting into it with these niggas, you might want to think about jumping off the porch for your mama when you gotta go home to your wife and children, because there's a and I think I might have played it when we was did the podcast at my house, Jazz, where the guy went to Walmart and he was with his wife and newborn, and he intervened in an altercation with a man and a woman, and when he did, the man shot and killed him and left his wife and newborn to fend for themselves now.
What?
Yeah, maybe I didn't play it, but yeah, that was the thing. It was in like one of the North Carolina, South Carolina. But the guy intervened, and when he did, the man shot him and killed him. And he just had, and like I said, it was his wife and newborn together. He said he couldn't sit by and let a man beat on a woman. And it's like, me and my wife had this conversation. She said, you better just walk away, because I need you to come home and help me raise these boys. You can't be worried about what somebody else got going on out here in these streets. And I agree. Like, as a married man, got to take care of my own kids and household and be financially responsible. And we know what happens with children when they're raised without a father. Why would I do that to my children?
Exactly. That's just irresponsible to do. And now I will say, looking at my comments, I said this is the first time I've ever done this type of live stream. So are you able to see the comments from
Yeah, I
my
can see them too.
Okay. So we call BS. First of all, hey, we call BS podcast, and hey, NYG King Jers, what's going on, everybody? She says, in my opinion, this further divides the black man and woman. The dynamics of the black household is pretty much non-existent, and this black woman versus black man is weakening us collectively. I do agree, Dewanda. It's just the issue is that when I made my so when I put this stream out, said my caption was why black men no longer protect black women, or why black men don't protect black women anymore, or something like that. And of course it's a little bit of clickbait, but it's really this idea of black men are going to start being more cautious about doing this because, like the examples that you gave, right? Where sometimes a man does intervene and he says, hey, I'm going to help this situation out, and then he ends up losing his life. At the end of the day, more people are so high strung these days. People be on drugs. People are crazy. You just really have to feel a situation out. And if you are a married man with a family, you do have an obligation to your own family, and you want to make sure that you do everything in your power to make it home to them at night. So I get that it's tough, but I mean, that's a good point.
Let me finish playing, see what this guy got to say.
I'm like a hypocrite because me, myself, and I do pranks and I upload it all over my TikTok. But
we ain't got to hear what he said. I think I heard what he said. Let's see what this video says.
What have I ever done to anybody in my life to deserve this? I never did anything in my life to hurt anybody. Literally, a man asked me for my number. I said no, and he picked up a brick in front of so many men and was like, what are you gonna do? And I told all these men, like, yo, why this man got a brick on my face? And he's holding.
And you can see her whole demeanor. She's very aggressive, violent woman. Like, and to get on live, and I hate this. Y'all, people get on live and start crying and they want sympathy, especially from people like me. I find it very comical, and I always laugh because I can't take you serious if you got time to get on your phone and upload this or go live and act like you're so hurt. Like if you that hurt, you need to be holding your ice bag to your face instead of the phone.
Holding a brick, and all these is watching, and nobody does nothing. And he hits me in my face, and then they all just watch it. And they let that get in a car. How is this okay? This is what y'all doing to women?
See, let me say something. Okay. First of all, this is my first time doing a joint stream in this way where I'm streaming to both my platform and to Smaya's platform. So hello to all of Sid's subscribers and followers, and hello to all of my own. I'm here at the New Normal Podcast. Very excited to be here. And y'all have to forgive me because Sid will tell you if you're a content creator and you got stuff lined up, sometimes you just have to get in where you fit in. So I'm so sorry, y'all. I had to get my food in, or I wasn't gonna have any time to eat. But anyway, I want to say that that reaction that we just saw from her in the hospital room, I actually do think that that's genuine. Those tears and stuff, I think it is. The issue is that it's just a little too late, right? It's a little too late to be a, damsel in distress. And if women by and large had just maintained that aura about ourselves for a longer time than we have, we wouldn't be in the situation we are now, where men are kind of, feeling detached and not feeling the need to help us because all the time we're letting them know that that we don't need them and just belittling them all the time. I'm sure you'll probably end up playing it, but there was a gentleman who asserts that he was there, and he said that that the situation didn't quite go as it was planned, or as it was portrayed by her, and that she was being extremely disrespectful to the man, belittling and berating him to the point that he did reach aggression. Now, of course, we know at the end of the day, you can't just hit somebody because they saying stuff to you. But the issue,
I disagree, but go ahead.
well, the issue though is, ladies, we can't put ourselves in these predicaments, right? It's not ladylike to be arguing to that point, arguing so vehemently with a man. That is insane. Like that is being extremely argumentative is being aggressive. That's not what we're here to do. So once you cross that threshold, once you've crossed that line from being a lady into being a challenger, then you have to be able to, you have to expect whatever's going to come from that.
I come from this old school way of thinking where if someone you can't control somebody's reaction, and and the thinking that you can't control somebody's reactions makes you more cautious of how you approach and do stuff to people. Whereas she could have been like, "Oh, you bitch ass nigga, you couldn't get my number." Well, most people would say, well, a lot of people, I ain't gonna say most, a lot of people will say, that's not right. You shouldn't, hit a woman with a brick because she denies you, even if it's in a disrespectful manner. But we will all say that it's not a lot of sane people out here to be doing that type of stuff too. You need to deny somebody in a proper manner. Now they say this woman is a nuisance in that community. So the man that probably said something to her, I doubt he asked her for her number. It had to be something different or something else going on. And like I said, I grew up knowing that if you said something to somebody disrespectful, you can't say, "Hey, because I said something disrespectful to you, you need to say something disrespectful to me." That doesn't work like that, because I have an understanding, and most people will agree with me when I say this. If you cut me, I'm trying to cut you 10 times more than you cut me. So if you hurt my feelings, now I got to say something about your mom, got to say something about your daddy. Now you punch me, now I got to punch you 7-8 times and drop you on your neck and, break your back and stuff like that. Like, if you shoot me one time I survive, now I got to, go and shoot your whole family up. Like, I always got to top it, because now when you fuck me over, now I got to fuck you over. And now it's just a continuous cycle. And like I said, most people aren't sane people when it comes to situations like this.
And see, that's another thing too. Like this kind of reminds me of like the Erica Mena situation. Now, me said, like, y'all, me and said we agree on so much stuff, but there's always at least something that we're gonna see a little bit differently about. And I do kind of have like a little bit of a bleeding heart. So like I don't like when people's feelings really get hurt. I feel like as human beings, we can find ways. And I'm what's going on, Chaos Rain? And y'all know me. I'm J Man from the Tough Topics podcast, baby. I shoot straight like a laser, but I try my best to do it in a tactful way, right? So I don't think that. So in the whole thing with Erica Mena, what she said to honey, I don't know who these folks is, Blue Spice or whoever the child. When she said that to her, I do think that that was inappropriate. However, said I would imagine that you were probably in the camp of people to say, um, well, hey, you know, the girl, the Blue Spice girl, she said something mean to her first, and so by that point, you just can't, you know, determine what somebody will say back.
Yeah, I'll agree. Like, I think we have these imaginary rules of engagement with each other, right? And so if I say, like I said, if I say you're a punk, and then you expect me to say, "Oh, you're a punk back," I don't even understand how that logic is, especially if you're black and you grew up in a black school. Let's say you went to all black school, so we understand the concept of roasting, right? And roasting is basically getting the better of your opponent. Like you have to say some of the most vicious, foul, funny, charismatic stuff all into one to persuade the crowd that's watching you roast this other person that's roasting you. So when you got a person like Erica Mena and I guess the Blue Spice lady, then you have to ask yourself, hold on, let me change my banner. Then you have to ask yourself, is she really wrong? Because like I said, she's trying to get the better up on the other woman. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, like, since she said something to her that was deemed disrespectful, I don't find no issue with her saying something and going further and trying to cut deeper than Erica did. You know what I'm saying? Or Blue Spice did. As a matter
So
of fact,
you just
go
don't
ahead.
believe that there's rules of engagement for anything.
No, I do, but not when it comes to streets. Like for instance, if if me and my wife, right, got into a heated argument, there is rules of engagement for this argument. I know there are certain intimate details that she told me that I should never bring up in an argument to win said argument, because we are two people that's supposed to love each other. So boom, rules of engagement is I don't say what she told me when we first got together, that she's vulnerable and what happened in her past. Same with me. She can't go and say anything or step on my toes about something that I told her that, I might feel weak as a man. So those things is the rules of engagement, but that's because that's my wife. So there's certain things and boundaries we're not going to cross. But a person that I don't like that's on TV, or we're trying to make ratings and all of this stuff, all gloves are off. If I see somebody in the streets and let's say they hit me, all gloves off. There is no, I could literally, like, if someone was to assault me in the street, I feel like you could go as far, and in some states called stand your ground, you can go as far as kill them, even if they punch you and run off somewhere or something like that. Like, that's justified in some states. So it just depends on how far you're willing to take it. And like I said, you can't worry about somebody's reaction if you start it up. Now, if someone just randomly comes and do something to you and you walking down the street, that's kind of fucked up for them to do something like that to you. Would you agree?
Yeah.
But do you get my rules of engagement? Like someone that I'm called close to, or we've told details to and stuff like that, I believe those are rules and games. But somebody random now, I don't think there is.
I can understand what you mean, like this idea of feeling like you have an obligation to certain people. Obviously, you have like an obligation to your wife. She's your life partner.
Yeah.
And you definitely want to make sure that you don't say something as best as you can. You don't want to say something that's going to really tarnish your marriage, even in the midst of anger. So yeah, I think that I'm gonna look at some of the chats, some of the comments, because
Let me shut the
I know
screen.
you're yeah, I was about to say I know you're mostly looking at the videos and stuff, so I'll try to keep the chat, keep up with it. So um, let me see. NYG, you are out of control. Undisclosed username says, I guess she didn't learn from that female trucker in Dubai. They never learn. They never learn, right? Um, Undisclosed username also says she recently released a book called I Bring Nothing to the Table, but she made herself available for a hetero man to approach her for a phone number. Sounds like Cap. Yeah, Sid, did you get a chance to, and don't let me jump the gun. I know you got an arsenal of videos to show, but did you get a chance to see that video of this same lady we're talking about, the brick lady? where she was talking about she's basically like LGBT friendly or whatever, and she's like,
Oh,
"Oh,
so
I
when she
hope."
said something about the lesbians,
Yeah.
yeah, I seen that one. Let me see if I can
Yeah,
find.
that was literally her saying that which of course, I'll let you guys see it, but basically pay attention to what she says as far as who are supposed to be the providers and protectors of the community. And this is what happens when you adopt feminism. Ladies, listen and hear me clearly. There's no winners in that. You don't win. You don't have the power, the fortitude, the strength, the tenacity. You don't have any of those things that men have. The reason why you think you do is because in decades recent, you've been dealing with the Pookies and Ray Rays of our community, the lowest hanging fruit of our men. And so you have confused yourself to think that all of our men are that way. But real sound based black men and men in general, they don't mirror any of those components. They are protectors, they are providers, they are stoic, and they're not overly emotional, and they're not feminine in nature, and they're not losers, and they're not leeches, right? So don't blame the good men because you have slummed it up with the help for the last 30, 40 years, and then when you get 50 years old and you're an empty nester, and even your son don't want to be bothered with you anymore because he outliving his life, and you try to emotionally incest with him, and then you want to go try to find you some simp and all this type of stuff. And sometimes that does work, but I think a lot of men are waking up, and what and what Kevin Samuels used to say, winter is coming.
Yeah, he did say that, and winter is coming, especially with this recession we in, and the cold weather's coming up, and then holidays are coming up. I was watching a video, right, of this guy, and you might have seen it, but it was this guy, and he was talking about how 80% of evictions were by women.
Yep.
When
Yep.
I looked at the comment section, it was nothing but black women that dissing black men, saying one, black men don't have their own houses, black men stay with their mamas, black men are homeless, black men need to take on black women, and take care of black women because we wouldn't be getting evicted and stuff like that. And I'm like, are y'all listening to yourselves? Like, one minute y'all saying y'all want the thugs and your gangsters and all of this, like the incident that's in Birmingham right now. The three young ladies that got killed and the other guy that got shot, right?
Okay, you got the scoop on that? What's the scoop on that?
I don't want to give it out too much because somebody's gonna do a podcast on it, but pretty much my basis of that is, how so many women say they want thugs and gangsters and all of this and want to be seen with these guys, but they know these guys in dangerous lifestyles, getting shot at and stuff like that. And so if you in these dangerous lifestyles, getting shot at, and you want to be around this guy, being close to this person because put your life in danger so bad that you could lose your life just because you want to be cool, or you want the thug, or this is what masculinity looks like. And I hate to say it, but in our community, the black community, masculinity and being a thug are synonymous. And I hate to say that.
Well, and see, that's the issue though, is that because at some point, yes, it could be where we recognize that the proverbial thug and gangster, he does possess some warrior class qualities, right? But it's like I tell these people, honey, if you want to shoot folks that bad, join the military. Okay,
Yeah.
go join the military. If you want to be in a brotherhood that bad, go join a fraternity. You know what I'm saying? You're purposely choosing the worst things to do under the guise of, well, we the protect, because you don't protect all that much. How many times, and I'm not condoning this behavior at all, but you guys remember how everybody was so up in arms for like it seemed like it was every other week when Obama was president, where it was some police shooting or whatever. And I don't recall any of the hoodlums, any of the gang members and whoever else. I didn't hear about them going and seeing about them cops and going and wetting up their house and their family home and all this type of stuff. So somebody is lying. No, you only have the bravery, and it's not bravery at all. You only have the nuts to shoot at folks when it's another black man. And I don't know who said this. I'm not going to credit myself with saying this, but it was a quote I thought was so profound. He said, I think it might have been David Banner. I know a lot of people feel like David Banner is fake deep. But I think it was him that said the reason why a young black man can so easily kill another young black man is because he looks at him the same way he looks at himself, as nothing. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't see anything when he looks at that young man that looks just like him. Versus when the white folks come around, which we know white folks don't bother black people for real, but the best example we can have is maybe some of these cops sometimes maybe antagonize people and you don't do anything then. So no, they're not really all that about it. They're just diluted, and really it's just a long way, a long fancy way of committing self-deletion. I know the S word is not YouTube friendly, but it's really just a way of it's a more intense and volumized way of self-deletion where you're gonna get rid of everyone who looks just like you as a way of getting rid of yourself, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I can understand why David Banner would say that. I think a lot of this is because, once again, a lot of black women are raising these black men to be their personal attack dogs. So if you never grew up respecting men and seeing your mama fight men and she's sicking you on these other men and you're going to fight her battles for you, it's okay in your mind to go and shoot up another person or another guy that looks exactly like you. That's cool.
Right.
That's the thing to do. And then in the music, they perpetuate that too. Now we have it extra bad because they might have had gangster music, but now they got horrors with the gangster music, with your Sexy Red, talking about she's a hoe, but then she got to have a nigga that's got the clips and the magazines and all of this. It's like it's on overload. And then with black people, they tell you could judge a race of people by their women.
Yep.
And if our women are out here singing Sexy Red, and like I said, if black women didn't like Sexy Red, there wouldn't be any consumers for her and they wouldn't push her.
Exactly.
Same thing with your Love and Hip Hops. Love and Hip Hop been on by 20 seasons now. There is no reason for this show to be continuously going on, because why are y'all supporting such ratchet behavior, such degenerate behavior? Like, this is not, but like I said, this is what black women like. They like this type of energy, like this type of stuff that's going on. Because we got to be real. Most of the people that's watching Love and Hip Hop are going to be black women.
Mhm. Yep. And then, like you mentioned, with the obviously there is an audience, there is a market for Sexy Red. I've seen women say on my Facebook, and the reason I use Facebook as a gauge is because the people on my Facebook are people that I actually know. When it comes to YouTube and TikTok and stuff, people just they might follow my page or something. But the people on my Facebook I know personally, and a lot of them they shared this post that said, "I'm convinced if you're a black woman and you don't like Sexy Red, you just boring." And to me, that level of immaturity is like insane. But it's so annoying because you want to get these people told, right? You want to tell them you sound so stupid. Like you sound like the dumbest person I've ever heard in my life. But they're so dumb that they wouldn't understand. Like they wouldn't understand why what they're saying is dumb. And I'm to the point where, we got to quit expending so much energy trying to pull these people up so much, because I think at some point people are they're just purposely turning away from logic and reason. There's no reason at all why any grown person, and I'm talking about grown even past just the age of 18, 19, nobody that's older than 14 years old should find Sexy Red's music entertaining or something that they want to purposely listen to, or her persona to be emulated in any way. And man, listen, and then King Jers made a good point, right? He said it's better female rappers, but we'll never see them. We'll never see the female rappers that are actually really talented, that have the craft and that know how to string together, do the wordplay, the punchlines, the metaphors, all of that type of stuff that we know rap to actually be. They'll never be propagated. It's just gonna always be the thought rappers. And it's crazy to me that there's so many of them, because you would think, well, all of y'all gonna have the exact same gimmick. Like, how can we even distinguish between you? Like, I'm not gonna pretend
Right.
like there's no, you know what I'm saying, like there's no Meg Thee Stallion songs that I like or whatever. There's a couple of them that are catchy, but with the other female rappers, I literally do not know any of their songs. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like if it's Meg, if it's Cardi, if it's Suki, if it's Sexy Red, if it's Lotto, if it's Glorilla, if it's all of these girls rapping about they hoo-ha, like how are you not bored with that?
Uh, yeah, I agree. Shanti said reality TV is falling off too. The numbers are horrible, and so is the storyline. I agree. JBO said Nicki Minaj is the queen of rap. Okay. Um, Shanti said just because someone is a great rapper didn't mean they have the it factor too, though. I agree. It's a lot of rappers that are great, but they don't have the it factor. I'm
Yeah,
being
they're
honest
not
with y'all.
commercial.
I,
They're
I
not
don't
able to be
think
commercialized.
I don't think Sexy Red is has an it factor. I think and my homeboy said this. I think Sexy Red is an industry plant and she don't know that she's an industry plant. What that mean is she making the music and certain people are pushing her. And I think it's the tiny hats, and the tiny hats are making a division between black people more and more because you gotta ask yourself, why are so many black women able to run rampant on social media doing the stuff that they're doing? Literally, I seen a girl suck on this guy's gun as if she was performing fellatio, and this was on social media. But if you get on social media and you speak against black women too much, they would take you down. Like on TikTok. TikTok is not a place for black men, point blank, period. If you try to hold a live stream, especially if you try to hold a live stream for men only, they would definitely try to get your live taken down and get your page taken away, because black women don't like to see black men come together, because once black men come together, it's over for the stuff and the degenerate behavior, and black women gonna have to acquiesce to what black men want, right? And the issue is always gonna come where black men can't trust each other, because it's always gonna be a lame nigga that's gonna do what's gotta be done to get some coochie. Got to get that cootie pop, and that's the sad part, that we can't even come together as men because somebody over here ain't got enough coochie in his life. So now he got to run over here and sneak and
He
back.
got a cape. He got a
Right,
cape.
right.
And see,
Hold on.
that's where yeah,
Go
you
ahead.
finna read the comments. I was gonna address
I was
that
gonna, I
too.
was gonna, I was gonna play this video, then we get back to it. Let me play this video.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So I'm gonna play this video. I found this video. I thought it was good. So let's see.
Older son.
I feel like you're acting like you're the first woman to be divorced and you're the first woman that's left with 2 children to fend for. I've been doing it for 14 years.
Now that part right there was weird, because just because you've been divorced don't mean that I want to be divorced. Just because you've been doing it 14 years don't mean I'm not taking divorce hard. Just because you've been divorced doesn't mean that I want to do exactly what you're doing. Don't try to belittle my experience with this divorce, with my divorce, and think that I'm supposed to be okay with divorce because you're okay with divorce.
Mena then added that she has been a single parent for 16 years, and that's when Spice delivered the low blow.
I've been doing it for nowhere. 16. Okay? 16. Okay, with 16 your son that don't like you.
And obviously that
Like, that's a low blow with your son that doesn't like you. Your son that doesn't like you. Why would you say that? Like, even if I told you that in confidence, you bring it out, and I would be upset too if someone said that about my child, because it might be an issue where we might be going through something, but that doesn't mean my child doesn't like me. But when you put it out there like that, it's like we've been having issues since I've had a child. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Well,
that didn't sit well.
Go ahead.
See, the thing is though, yeah, like you said, when you go low, you can't account for how much lower somebody is going to go. I think my issue with Erica Mena saying it is not so much that, even though of course, yes, I already mentioned I don't like to see people get their feelings hurt. Like I feel like there's like as a content creator myself, obviously people say hurtful things to me all the time. But there's certain things that maybe might actually get under my skin. And so I can sympathize with people when someone says something really hurtful, right? My issue was though that it's a racist thing to say. And I have never accidentally said something racist to somebody, even in the midst of anger.
What
If I
you
was
mean?
ever
Her
arguing,
saying something about the monkey part?
right?
Okay.
Like, so I think that, like, for instance, if I was arguing with like a white person at my job or something like that, which of course doesn't happen often, but if it ever has, I haven't slipped up and been like, "You honky peckerwood." Like, I just don't talk like that. I don't think like that, even in my daily life,
Hold
even in
hold
my
on, hold on, hold
private
on,
life.
hold on, hold on, hold on. So you mean to tell me you think Erica Mena told her she was a monkey to be racist? She because this woman, I'm gonna say this woman is not attractive, and she got this blue hair looking like a clown. I'm just gonna be honest, and
Why
I don't
couldn't she have just called her a clown? Like said, you and I both know, you're smart enough to know that the term monkey as an insult is usually reserved for black people, specifically darker skinned black people. I've never heard somebody call a light skinned person a monkey, and I've never heard somebody call a white person a monkey, even if they were ugly.
I beg to differ, and the reason that I say that is I have heard other dark skinned people say that another dark skinned person looked like a monkey because they look like a monkey, not necessarily because they
Right.
were dark skinned, is because they typically look like monkeys. And we can't act like there aren't like white monkeys and stuff like that. You just don't think to call them that. So that's the issue. And this woman, I'm pretty sure, and this is the thing, and I'm gonna say this: we feel like we pick up on energies, right? So you can feel kind of how a person feels about themselves, right? And I can kind of have conversations with a person to know what someone has said to them in their past life that gets under their skin. This woman is not just conventionally attractive. She has blue hair and big nostrils and stuff like that. So looking at this woman, I'm pretty sure she has been called monkey a lot in her life. So, and I'm pretty sure this is an issue that she's probably had plenty in her life. So me calling her a monkey is just going to rub a scab that she's already had in life, not necessarily because I'm racist or something like that. And then you also got to remember this: Erica Mena is supposed to be the black woman. They keep trying to act like Erica Mena is black. So I don't know where the racism would come in at that, because like, let's say even if she wasn't Latino or whatever, let's say you had just a light, let's say it was you on the other end. If you called her a monkey, would that be racist?
It wouldn't be racist in a traditional sense, but it would be a racist sentiment to say. And to Ashanti's point, Erica Mena has never claimed to be black, and many Latino, black Latinos, Afro Latinos, even Cardi B, it was the same thing when she
But
did
hold on, hold on,
something
hold on.
similar.
But I didn't say Erica Mena. I said a lot of the black women are saying Erica Mena.
And I told you, I said that it wouldn't be racist in the traditional sense. No, because I am black, but it would be me mimicking a racist sentiment. Yes. Like, what do you mean? So you're
Okay,
you're really gonna
no, let me ask
pretend?
you this. So if somebody literally resembled a monkey and you told them that in an argument, that's racist if they literally look like a monkey.
If they were a dark-skinned black person and I called them a monkey, I'm smart enough to know that that is a racially insensitive statement to make.
That's not what I asked you. If they
It's
look
it's
like
exactly what you're asking me.
if they look, hold on, because this is why I'm confused. If I see somebody that look like a caterpillar and I say, "Hey, you ugly dog, you like a caterpillar," that ain't
That that
racist.
phrase has no that phrase has no racial
Hold on.
insensitivity to it.
I understand what you're saying about all of the racial, things that come behind it, right? I understand that. But we're talking about two black people because we say nigga to each other, and that's not meant to be racist, right?
It should be. I recognize that it isn't, but it should
Okay,
be.
so hold on. We call each other nigga, and you hear nigga in music, nigga this, nigga that. But nobody's like, this is racist. But when it comes to a monkey, when I think this woman resembles a monkey, I personally do. And I don't think it's in the context of her being racist. I think I'm looking at somebody that looks like a monkey, and I call you that. Now I'm racist for calling you something that you look like. When we know
Well,
black people literally use a term and say nigga, and I say nigga as endearment because you're my brother now.
well, you just said it yourself, said just like Ashanti said, it depends on the context. You calling your homeboy nigga like nigga chill or something like that. That's a term of endearment. In no point, no one's gonna call somebody a monkey in an endearing way. So it's an insult.
Oh,
That's the difference.
I just don't feel that way. And the reason I said it, if two black people I know can say nigga to each other, because okay, so is there any time that the N word between two black people can be considered racist? Then,
Now could it be considered racist?
yeah,
I
like you
mean,
said, it has the racist undertone when you call a black person a monkey. Can two black people having a conversation with each other and they get mad, and can one person call the other person nigga?
the
And
only way I
yes.
could think of, I could see it being, I think to your point, you could obviously tell the difference between saying the N word in an endearing way versus as like if you're mad at somebody. But I still don't think it would be a racist encounter between two black people because what
Okay,
would you say?
hold on.
You would hold on, let me finish my
Okay,
point. Let me
go
finish
ahead,
my
go
point.
ahead.
Like you might just say, nigga, STFU. Okay, so me telling you to shut the F up is really the meat of what I'm saying. I'm just saying nigga before that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that really doesn't affect the argument really. Like the only thing I can do is just say the N word in an aggressive way, but it's not necessarily racially motivated between two black people. But the thing is, said whether you want to admit it or not, I'm the type of person I'm a realist. Realistically, I understand that there is, whether we like it or not, there's a difference between how light-skinned people and darker skinned people are perceived, how they're treated, especially women. And I hate that so bad, right? And I just know that it's not fair because you can't control your skin color. So I just hate it for our dark-skinned sisters who have had to grow up with an inferiority complex because I have literally heard our black men. Now, this is one thing, I'm sorry, I got to be honest. I have heard black men say this out of their own mouths, several, that will say that light-skinned women are just naturally prettier, naturally more attractive. Like, it's like, well, dang, like, I done seen some light-skinned, ugly women before, and guess what? I never once thought to call them a monkey. And I've seen some dark-skinned, ugly black women before, and I still never thought to call them a monkey.
I'm just gonna be honest. I've been around a lot of black men, and see that like we talk about context matters. I don't know when those black men told you that, were they trying to say something to make you feel good because you are a light-skinned woman, right? So I'm not saying you heard this. They were saying it to you to make you feel good. I'm just saying in context matters because I've been around a lot of black men and we had conversations about skin tone, and I've heard a lot of black men say some nice stuff about dark-skinned women, and I don't want to get too vulgar, but if I say this as men, y'all gonna understand. A lot of y'all gonna understand what I'm
Let
saying.
me guess, the black of the berry, the sweet of the juice.
Yeah, like that part, or like they like the way that the darker skin looks, and when you get down to the vagina area, it looks a little pinker, and it's a turn on and stuff like that. So it's a lot of stuff that people like the way the darker skin glistens. Like I've heard that darker skinned women's skin is suppler than lighter skinned women. And I would have to agree. Like if you touch a darker skinned woman, her skin seems to be a little bit more supple, a little more elastic in there. Like it just depends on the conversation. And a lot of times when I had these conversations with men, I always judge them on their experience with women. And what I mean by that is, how many women have you actually encountered to the point where y'all got intimate, where y'all had conversations, where you got to really experience a woman and not just strictly on a sexual level? Like, do you know her past experiences, her hurts, her traumas and stuff like that? Because those experiences shape us and how we view a lot of stuff. So when men be like, oh, I like light-skinned women, they're more attractive, I just don't think you've experienced a lot of women that much.
Listen, I'm inclined to agree. To your earlier point, no, those men were not just saying that to appease me because they weren't talking to me at all. It was on certain podcasts that I've watched with several thousands of, watchers and this kind of thing. But yeah, I think that ultimately we're smart enough to know that people have preferences, right? There are some people
Oh yeah.
you know, I'm gonna make fun of my boyfriend because I know when I first met him, of course he didn't say it, but it was some conversation we were having that kind of alluded to the idea that he actually does prefer, like, you know, maybe like brown skin, not necessarily dark skin, but like brown skin women. And then here I am, you know, this bright yellow girl or whatever. So certainly there are differences and preferences, but I think that colorism, it's just a little irresponsible. It's a little irresponsible to pretend like colorism doesn't exist, and that I just don't know that people I just don't know that a light skinned person or a white person or basically anyone other than a dark skinned black person, though said to your point, you may see a person and think they look like a monkey quite literally, but how often is that insult shared with a person unless it's a dark skinned black person? I mean, if we're just being honest, maybe your experience is different than mine. I've never seen it happen to anyone except for a dark skinned black person.
I think I'm gonna say this when it comes to colorism, I think colorism affects women, black women, way more than it affects black men. And also, I think darker skinned women have a bigger chip on their shoulder. Oh, excuse me, bigger chip on their shoulder than darker men. And the reason being, I think like when you think about men, a lot of darker skinned men are considered sex symbols, like your Idris Elba. You know, he's a darker skinned man, or your Morris Chestnuts, or your, you know, you got a lot of your Tay Diggs. Like, it's a lot of black men who are sex symbols, right? Whereas on the darker skin area, you don't have that for women. Like most of your women, black women, are going to be your mulatto women. You're going to have your Halle Berry's, your Zoe Zendaya, your, you know the typical light skinned black phenotype, right? So
Mhm.
it's like with black men, I'm not looking at a black man, a light skinned black man, like I can't fuck with this nigga because he light skinned. But I have heard black women say, a darker skinned black woman say, oh, she thinks she all that because she light skinned, or she thinks she all that because she got good hair, or she mixed and she got long curly hair, or she thinks she all that because she mixed or she got long curly hair. Like, I've heard women say this, and this is why I say this statement. Black women don't cover up what they proud of. And what I mean by that, when they got a big old ass, they be ready to show that to the world, but then the next minute they want to cover up their hair. Like, they natural hair, they always putting wigs and different stuff on. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, you don't really wear your natural hair a lot, but your body, y'all showing that off. Your titties, I see so much areolas on the internet, or for the sake of breastfeeding, I see a lot of women showing their titties so they can breastfeed. Like I said, I think colorism really is an issue for black women, and not just
Yeah.
dark skin women, just the women dynamic, the light skin and the
Well,
dark skin, you know.
I agree with that part definitely, and actually you kind of prove what I was trying to get at, is that colorism is real, however, it is perpetuated mostly by black women on either side, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
perpetuated by the dark-skinned black women towards light-skinned black women, and it's perpetuated by all black women towards light-skinned black men. I have heard so many women throughout the course of my life say that they feel like a light-skinned man, they're automatically gonna call him sassy,
Sassy,
they're
yeah.
gonna say he's weak, they're
He
gonna
can't
say, "I."
fight. Oh, yeah.
Exactly, he can't fight, all this type of stuff, and I'm like, "That is so crazy." So we wonder why, you know, so many lighter skinned men, like, they always make sure they, I've noticed a lot of, like, especially the real light skinned ones, they wanna make sure they go get a full sleeve, 2 full sleeves, you
Yeah.
know, neck tats, they wanna make sure they coming off as hood and as gangster as possible because the women have told them for their entire lives that literally just their skin tone alone somehow has some, you know, some bearing on their manhood, which is insane.
I can agree with that, especially about the man part, the light skinned man part. I
They
agree.
do light-skinned men so bad.
They definitely do, and I think a lot of that go back to maybe slavery too, because you got to think about, like, when you look at pictures of the warriors in Africa, or the warriors they had when he's watching like movies like Django, when they actually had the men fighting and stuff like that. You're
Right.
typically gonna have some big black dark skinned nigga doing that. You're not gonna have nobody that's, light skinned, or the slave owner's son. He's not gonna be out there fighting and stuff like that. So yeah, you're not going to do that. But can we talk about how and this is, I know we're talking about colorism, so I guess this is going to it. Can we talk about how in the media, the black man, the darker skinned black man is portrayed to be gay now? Like black men were considered the most masculine men, but now every time you turn on TV and they put a black man in front of us that's darker skinned, he gay. The Saucy Santana, the other nigga that's on that podcast, that big dude. What that dude that wore that dress to the award, Billy Porter,
Oh yeah.
Wayne Wade and his son, and like you ever notice when they put niggas and being gay, and they take the darker skinned man and put him out there.
I have noticed that. And real quick to address something in the comments, because I've noticed like with Ashanti, I don't think I can directly respond to her since she's on your stream and not mine. But Ashanti, I had typed something to you early in the chat. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but yes, with the whole, I've never disrespected a light skinned man just off the strength of him being light skinned, but I would be lying. I would be lying if I didn't kind of assume that, not like just like a caramel or light brown, but the real yellow men. I don't know. I guess it's because in our community, the men treat light skinned women a lot of times differently than they do dark skinned women, as if to assume that their fair skin makes them more feminine somehow. So I think I just kind of naturally took that and applied it to the men as well, where all of it is ridiculous. Like your skin color is just your skin color, people. Like we talk about this whole black and white thing, but here they are, albino people are technically black and they have the whitest skin on the planet. So, we gotta just sometimes just be mindful of like how we're attributing these things. And then also to We Call BS, she says she was referring to my sentiment about the nigga versus nigga thing. Like if you arguing with somebody, she was like, that's like someone calling you, not you personally, a B word jokingly or in a heated confrontation. Should context really matter since the word itself is offensive? I
I
just
don't
feel
think
like,
so.
yeah, I was about to say,
Hold on. I don't think context matters if it's an offensive word. Bitch is offensive. Point blank, period. I don't care if you
right.
joking. I don't care if you talking to your homegirl. Bitch is offensive. Nigga is offensive. I don't care if because words have meaning. Context, I think when we do context, we trying to skirt around like gray areas of certain things. No, there's a meaning to these words. We could look them up. Those are derogatory terms, bitch. Or bitch is not necessarily a derogatory term, but it's meant to be used as that. But it means female dog. And if you want to be a female dog, then it is.
Well, see, yes, but the thing is though, because I don't use those types of words with my friends. I never have, and they never have with me. But obviously, I do know females that do. So if both the females in that conversation are using that word as a term of endearment, then it would have to be in that context a term of endearment. Like, because both of them are in on it. Now, if you are a woman that doesn't mind calling women the B word, and then you just happen to say it freely, and then you come across another woman who doesn't like that, somebody like me, I'm gonna be like, oh, no, not the B word. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think the context in that situation actually does matter, but I totally agree with you that words have meanings. And certainly in this day and age, we can't understate the fact that words have meanings, and we can't just change the meanings of things because we want to.
Okay, so since we're talking about context in this Erica Mena situation, context, you think she was being racist, or do you think she was just trying to be hurtful? What's your choice? We'll finish this. Do you think she was being hurtful or being hurtful, or she was being racist?
I think she was being hurtful. I think that her racism came out. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier. I just don't think that you just call somebody a monkey off GP. Like I know that that's a racially insensitive term, just like a wetback or spick or whatever. I've never used those terms towards someone or even really thought of them, especially like when I'm actually thinking of people of those races. So I wouldn't say something like that because it's not even, you know what I'm saying? That's not, if I'm thinking of insulting you, I might say, I don't know. I could have made fun of her hair. I could have made fun of her nostrils. I could have made fun of her if she had jacked up teeth or whatever else. I could have said all those things. I just wouldn't have automatically thought monkey because I'm just ingrained to believe that monkey is a racially insensitive term, and I don't think like that when it comes to insulting people.
Yeah, like I said, I've been in situations with people that was darker than me, and they damn sure look like a monkey. And I wasn't trying to be racist. Yeah, this motherfucker like a damn monkey. And I told him, I said, hey, bro, you like a motherfucking monkey. Like your hair ugly as hell. Like, and it was just that. It wasn't me being racist. It wasn't nothing like that. Like you look like a monkey. As a matter of fact, I'm finna Google the monkey you look like, and I'm finna show you and tell me you don't look like this motherfucking monkey. And if you look like a monkey, it just is what it is. But that,
So
I just want,
you've seen white people that you think look like monkeys.
yeah. As a matter of fact, I have a friend who took a picture of a white person in Walmart and sent it to me and said, "This person don't like a monkey."
And you
Literally.
agreed.
And I agreed, and it was a little kid, and that's what was so funny because a little white girl, and she took the picture, and when she sent it, I was like, she damn sure look like a monkey because they got these little white monkeys.
Man, you are out of control.
They got these little, that's why I'm saying, like, if you look like something, I just can't be like you're racist because you look like, if you look like it, you just look like the shit. And I know that you want, and this is another thing that us as black people, we do, and it just came to me. We always are holding on to racism at every drop of a dime when somebody says something, and so many other people ain't holding on to racism like we are. So somebody might say something, and then we're like, oh, they might not have been thinking that it was racist, but it was definitely insensitive. And it's like, nigga, ain't nobody thinking about racism but you. And that's a lot of times why it's hard for people to be around us as black people, because you got to walk on eggshells to talk to black people, because you might say something to black people like, oh, that was racially insensitive. And then this nigga like, bro, we've been hanging out, we've been cool, and you just think I'm just out here saying racist shit. No, I just not even thinking about racism because you're so bent up and hung up on race all the time. And I'm not saying that you do that, Jazz. I'm just saying, like, us as black people, we're always caught up on race, and every little thing ticks us off. And I always say this: racism is a $1 billion industry. They pay to keep us, hung up on racism. They do this because it makes money. That's why they put a Black Lives Matter and paint it on your fucking street. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is.
No, you're 100% right in that way, where black people do fixate on racism far too much, and sometimes it makes it to where, Lord help these white people, because I know that they get, like you said, have to feel like they're walking on eggshells sometimes, because anything could be considered racially insensitive. But I think, and of course, we can just agree to disagree. I just think that people know that the term monkey is typically reserved as a racist insult, just like spick, just like bean-eyed, just like wetback, just like I'm trying to think of some other ones that people use for racist, but we know that, right? So if you say it, in whatever context you are saying it, you just said yourself that words have meanings, and if they're meant to be derogatory words, then don't we just need to accept them as derogatory?
Yeah, I agree, but I think it was supposed to be a insult, definitely. So I'm not saying that. I just didn't think the insult went to racism, but I know for a lot of people, especially darker skinned people, it's going to always land in racism, right? And that's what I think the issue is. I don't think Erica Mena is a racist person. I don't really
She's
follow
done
her.
other people who watch the show, like I think even Ashanti mentioned it earlier, and somebody else I was talking with yesterday on my Facebook. They said that this isn't the first time that she's made racially insensitive comments. Latino people, Afro Latino people struggle with this a lot, where they want to do everything they can to remove themselves from their blackness, and so they will, yeah, they'll do that. They'll feel like they're outside of the proverbial black person, and they can say certain things, or they want to say them to be hurtful. So yeah, that I'm just letting you know that's what people said. People said this ain't the first time she's done something like this.
Y'all make sure y'all like the video. If you watch it, make sure you like the video and share the video, please. I'm gonna ask this question real quick. So Safari is close to this color of this woman's spice, right? Do you think that she used racially insensitive things when talking to Safari? ever when they was married?
It wouldn't shock me if she did. A lot of times these black men, and I'm not talking about necessarily Erica Mena, but a lot of times black men, they love to date and marry outside, which of course is your prerogative to do, but you just have to remember those insults are gonna hit a little different. Certainly you don't if I call you, like we mentioned, the N-word earlier, like, nigga, okay. If I say that versus if Lil Becky say that, it ain't gonna quite feel the same. So, I think that sometimes black men need to be mindful of that. Every culture doesn't kind of follow the same little rules and regulations that we do. But to not to get on a tangent, but to answer your question, it wouldn't shock me if she had. Um, it just wouldn't shock me.
Okay. Like I said, with the whole monkey thing, I will agree it has been used as racial things. And she said that black men treat Latino women better than black women. Joe Budden baby mama her and left her in the same way she imagined he would have treated a black woman. She said the black women, she said that
See?
black men treat, okay, there we go. She said that black men treat Latino women better than black women. Joe Budden baby mamaed her.
So she's saying that Erica Mena has been quoted as
No, I
being one
think
of those
she
people.
gotta be talking about sin. Sin. You talking about sin? Because sin is the baby mama, right?
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Yeah,
Okay, that's
y'all
why
know I don't know these folks.
okay, that's why I was trying to, because sin is so fine. Lord have mercy.
Oh,
So
okay. So it's another person.
yeah, so that's what sin said. So Joe Budden baby mamaed her like he did, like he would have treated a black woman. I got you. But like I said, I agree. Monkey has been used as a term of racism, and if you're a smart black person, if you actually look at a monkey, white people look more like monkeys than black people. They got the white skin and they hairy as fuck. Like most black people ain't that hairy as white people. As a matter of fact, I was in Biloxi at the casino in the pool and I was looking at all the white men who was hairy as shit from their back, their chest and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. And then they, white people ain't got no lips and monkeys ain't got no lips. So I'm like, it just they want to look more like monkeys than actual black people do, but it is what it is. They try to say we come from monkeys and shit like that, but it is what it is. So let's
So
move on. What you
yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, I was about to say. I know. I see. Shanti said. See, y'all. I really do not be knowing this stuff. She said that Erica and Sin were in a lesbian relationship, so she
Yeah,
said
they
they think the
was.
same.
Yeah, they was. So Chrisean Rock. A gift that keep on giving. Chrisean Rock. Chrisean Rock. Having a baby on live. I seen a funny meme and it said, I'm not worried about Chrisean Rock giving birth on live because we knew we was gonna have to step in and be the step parent. And I was so weak when I read that. I'm like, dang, why y'all doing Chrisean like that? But I'm like, is this what the black relationship is indicative of? Fighting, cussing each other out, fighting each other's family, having to give birth on live, or having to give birth while you by yourself and your baby daddy with his other family. Is this what black people have come to when it comes to relationships?
It definitely is. And Ashanti, I don't know if you had a chance to see my comment from earlier when I was talking about when you mentioned the whole thing with the it factor. I had a little pushback to that because uh entertainment has not always been like this. Now, granted, it's been like this for a while, but it hasn't always been like this. There were times where we had people who were immortalized in black entertainment spaces that were not like this at all. People like the Lauryn Hills of the world, people like even if you think of somebody like, I don't know, heck, even Ashanti. I mean, obviously Ashanti, the singer, she's always been sexy, but she didn't always feel the need to sell sex per se. She kind of had that cute girl image when she first came out, singing songs like Happy and this kind of thing. So, and people would definitely say she has an it factor. So I don't agree that it's an it factor. What I think it is that our society has just devolved into degeneracy so much that we're so used to seeing that. And so if somebody brings something different than that, it's just going to be automatically perceived as boring because the celebrities we have today are so out there. They push the envelope so much. Remember how Kanye West, when he first started doing his antics, I mean, that probably had to have seemed like the craziest thing. Like, who's this guy? You know, he's saying all these crazy things. He's wearing weird stuff. He's doing weird stuff with, and then now, okay, Kanye, he's Kanye. It's everybody like that. Everybody is eccentric, and everybody is saying salacious stuff or whatever else. So I don't think that it's an it factor. There's nothing about Chrisean Rock that makes me interested in anything she
I
has
think
going on.
I think she's an industry plant and don't know she an industry plant too. I don't.
Like,
It's not. I don't think. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's nothing about her that's an it factor. At first, when it first came out, I was like, okay, Chrisean is kind of cute. You know, I was like, she's cute, decent body. I understand it, but now she's gained a little weight. She getting a little. She look more like a. I can't. You know, when I say people look like something, I gotta be worried about it if I'm sounding racist now. But to me, she like a little chipmunk in the face, Abbott and chipmunk. And so she not really as cute because she didn't gain a little weight. Her teeth got knocked out, and she got all these tattoos on her body, a blue face. She just looked like a little hood rat, like somebody you just pick up from the gas station. You know, hey yo mom, where you going? You know, that type of chick. Like that's how you would holler at her, and like nothing about her screams like cute, dainty, feminine. No, she's always trying to fight people. Like nothing about her is like she has it. She's the it factor. Like, I don't think anybody that comes up in reality TV just had an it factor other than maybe a Cardi B. I think Cardi B has an it factor. She's charismatic. When she's on live, she's talking about herself. She could talk to people. She moves around. She knows what to say. And people always try to act like Cardi B is slow. She might have slow moments, but overall, she's not slow. And I think we all should be awarded a slow moment. You get what I'm saying? But you know, we all can't be on our P's and Q's all the time. But I do think this is a person that has a ick factor. You know what I'm saying?
well, so
Numbers aren't lying. She has attention for sure. Also, it factor applies in different kinds of ways. Well, I think it's kind of go back to what I said about Sexy Red. Sexy Red would be a person that doesn't know that she's an industry plan, but it could be an exec that says, "Hey, put Sexy Red here on this playlist. Hey, make sure Sexy Red at this concert." It could be stuff like that to make it to where she gets the numbers, and I think that's how Chrisean is because there's no earthly reason that Chrisean is on the algorithm like she is. People aren't, I don't think people are going to search. I think she's just in our face. I don't follow Chrisean on anything, but all I ever see when I get on social media is Chrisean. And I think that's because algorithms and people put her in these certain spaces to be like the face of black relationships right now. I think that's really what's going on. I think the tiny hats are doing a job.
and she and another thing too, Ashanti, I think we have to realize the difference between someone having an it factor and someone being unfortunately relatable. Chrisean Rock is relatable to a lot of people right now, which is a very unfortunate thing. But the idea of being
I agree.
being eccentric, being deluded and being what I'm saying, just not couth in any way, just being all this type of stuff that's very relatable to women, being baby mama, being left for another woman, and all this type of stuff. I think that that's just something that's relatable to a lot of women right now. And to your point, yes, she does have extreme. When I hashtag Chrisean Rock on TikTok, it's like literally in the billions of times that her name has been hit. But I just don't think it's an it factor thing. I think it's a social engineering thing. You say if I haven't seen her work, what work exactly?
That's what I'm saying. Like her song, like even just think about it, it factor. Like her song, that it's a vibe. Nobody's listening to that shit. Like
I've never
that's
heard that.
right. She has a song that she put out. Like I would say, like 2 years ago. It's not doing anything. Her biggest thing is really being like, she got popping because of Blueface, honestly, because she's dating Blueface, and Blueface keeps her relevant. If it wasn't no Blueface and no antics, we wouldn't even know Chrisean. Like that's a thing. And I don't think she gets the it factor with anybody else outside of a Blueface, right? And people like to say, oh, Blueface ain't popping with the whoop. She is known because of Blueface, right?
And that's 100% true. And whether or not she has surpassed him, maybe. See, I think that's being disingenuous, Ashanti. I don't think any of us would know who she is, at least that we would not have known who she is without him. Now, to this point, I can agree that she probably has surpassed him in popularity. If TikTok is any indicator of it, because like I said, when I hashtag her or him in my shorts, she'll be at, like, I think it was like 8 billion for her and maybe like 4 billion for him. So obviously, I guess she has surpassed him, but it doesn't mean that he's not the reason for her clout. And even when you're talking about her being a reality star with him, people are watching her interactions with him, the fighting, the arguing,
And
the
they know
back and forth with him. So even still within that, it's not just her. Like if she was just some random person that never had this connection to this rap artist, we would not know who she is.
And you got to think about this part too. Like, even if they try, let's say she dated someone else, nobody's going to give her the energy that I think Blueface gives her, right? Calling her, hey, look here, you little goofy bitch. Like saying those wild, outlandish stuff to her. I don't think nobody's going to give her that energy. Like literally, another man going out here just to fight her, like Blueface is fighting her in the street. I don't think that happens. I don't think you get another man that wants to stand in front of her father and fight him in the street. I think a lot of this stuff, now some could be planned, I don't know, but for it to be reality TV, it's a lot of drama going on in this relationship, right? So for her to not have Blueface in her life or keep dealing with him, and that's why you got to think about it. How many times, this is the proof in the pudding, how many times has she said, I'm going to be done with Blueface? 5 minutes later, we're back together. Hey guys, look at us again. We're having sex. Oh, let's release the sex tape now. Oh, now we're back. I just hit Blueface in the bar with a bottle, or we got the fight in the street. Like I say, like it's been numerous of times. And women chat, hey girl, leave Blueface. She say, I'm gonna leave. Then here she comes again 2 days later. What?
So she mentioned something about our age earlier. Like what? How? What are you?
No, she
Are you
didn't.
not a? Are you not a millennial?
She
Are
gave
you Gen Z?
her interactions on the show, but because of the direct contact with them, they didn't date until after the show came out. Y'all haven't seen the show, LOL. Yes, y'all wouldn't know because her work isn't geared towards y'all demographic. But I knew about her before she popped out with Blue.
I just don't know if that's something that the average person can say. But if you're saying that it is, you would know more than me. Anybody would know more than me because the only time I see these people is of course when it's like something, something like this, something big happens, some fight they've gotten into or something like that. No, I don't watch the show, but I do feel like when you say it's not geared towards our demographic, I just don't exactly know what you mean. Like it's
We
not
honestly,
geared to,
I'm okay, so I'm a few years older than both of y'all, but you and Ashanti the same age.
yeah, I mean and
So
even if I were your age, said we're all still millennials. I know that for a fact. So it's like I think that when you say you knew of her beforehand, I don't know if that's something that the average person could attest to. I don't know if the average person now, if you follow track, I guess, I mean, hey, she was a D1 college track athlete, so maybe you might have known her from that, but you didn't know her as
most
this
people didn't know.
insane
Yeah,
lunatic.
most people didn't even know her from her accolades, the things that she actually did. Being on a TV show for views and ratings, and they gotta put you in front of us, and that's the thing. Like you can make a star. You can, like, for instance, this is a prime example. Easy E. he would, even when you watch his interview, he said Dr. Dre made him a star. Dr. Dre recorded him differently than everybody else. Dr. Dre gave him lines and did certain things for him to groom him to be a star. But naturally, he was not a rapper. Even the way that he rapped the song Cruising Down the Street in My 6'4", that song, they recorded that line by line. He said Dr. Dre did not record people like that, but had to help me. You can make a star because you put eyeballs on them. And like I said, they got the power and the stuff and the algorithm to put that in front of us. And like I said, if they are looking for a target demographic of 18 to 28 and I'm 35-year-old male, then why is that still coming down my timeline? Because that's not something that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a Chrisean or a Blueface or any other little Uzi Verts and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely some gearing towards a lot of people to watch her for some reason. It's not an it factor. I do think it's a social engineering going on to say, hey, this is what Black relationships look like. And people are eating up. I do think there's a lot of relatability going on with her, like Jazz said, but it factor, there's nothing that I can't sit and watch her. It's mind numbing. Like just sitting there, watch her and Blueface talk about something and argue and fight and beat each other and stuff like that. That stuff actually makes my skin crawl because I'm like, why do people continue to do this? But then, like I said, it ain't no Chrisean if it ain't no Blueface. It ain't no Blueface at this point without a Chrisean. That's why every 5 days they break up and then get back together because they're gonna make a lot of money.
So, and another thing is too, I think that somebody like Chrisean, just to kind of segue a little bit, since we're obviously going to talk about her giving birth and stuff. So, I did a video on her several weeks ago. Maybe I should say a couple of months ago. And but I resurfaced that video with a little bit of just kind of switched some things around and added some things since she's now had the baby. And basically, I was talking about how candidly and how casually she was joking about terminating her pregnancy when she was pregnant with this child. And so here's my thing with Black women, the modern Black woman. Why are y'all so fraudulent? Like, why can't you just be authentic? And whatever that looks like, whether it's, if you're going to be crappy people, then just be crappy people and accept that you are. Because you do this thing where you try to pretend like you have a humanistic side. And notice I specify modern. The reason why I specify modern is because that is a mindset to me. So you might be somebody who's a young Black woman and you might not associate with modern, characteristics. But she joked about killing her own child several times on her Instagram Live. Very incoherently, mind you, because she doesn't open her mouth when she talks. So she jokes about killing her child. And then now that she's had the baby and she had a few tears run down her face when she had the baby, I see the entire internet erupt, several tens of thousands of comments of people. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, I done cried with her. Oh, this is so beautiful. Oh, she needed this baby. No, she didn't need the baby. And the baby damn sure don't need her. So stop pretending like motherhood is a beautiful thing to you, because you bastardize motherhood all the time. Whether it's your incessant need to terminate your own children at your own convenience because a baby is going to interrupt your hot girl summer, or you go through with having the baby and use the baby as a pawn to ruin the life of a man who never said he wanted to be with you in the first place. So you bastardize motherhood at every turn, and you expect me to get online and tell this woman congratulations when I know that all she has done is brought a child into this world whose life she is about to thoroughly ruin. Unless she does a complete 180 with her mindset and the way she operates in her life, she's going to destroy that child. If for no other reason than one day that child will see that footage. That child will see the footage of her talking about how it just as casually as time I going to get a burger. Hey man, I really should. Hey shit, I should go up there with you and just kill this baby real quick. That's what y'all. That's something to y'all. That's somebody to spend. Even if it took you 10 seconds, it was 10 seconds too long to write a congratulatory message to this person on her Instagram, on her Facebook, on her TikTok. So stop pretending like you're good people. You're not. Nothing about supporting that makes you a good person. Supporting evil does not make you a good person. I don't care if I'm just looking at it from the fact somebody had a baby. People have babies all the time. People lay up and have 5, 6, 7 babies all the time, and it don't mean a thing. Just like old girl, Brittany Renner, my pussy stretched. So that means I love that motherfucker. Okay? That means that. Like, girl, no, you don't.
Yeah,
don't.
like I said, I made my video. I said black people love abortions, and it's got ridiculous at this point. How we so candid with it, and then you got to think about it. You got to think about this. Chrisean said she had 3 abortions before she had this one for Blueface.
See, I
3.
didn't know that.
Yeah, she had 3. So you can already tell this person ain't mentally right. And I keep telling the people, most people are living in a medicated reality. It's either sex, social media, drugs, alcohol, they or other people. So yeah, like so you could tell even when she talks, she's zombied out most of the time. And so her bringing a child in this world and the energy of Blueface and her into one little individual. Ah, hell, that baby finna be here. And I hate it. I don't hate this. I hate it, but I don't hate to say it because it's sad to say this about a child that's just recently entered the world, maybe 2 days old, a day or 2 old, right? But we know this is gonna be a little hell raiser. She finna raise a little renegade, and we need to be honest about this. We need to our children need to stay clear of Blueface and Chrisean child, or any child that Blueface has or Chrisean will have in the future. Like we just need to be honest. Like your child does not need to play with my child at the playground. If I see your child pushing my child on the swing, I'm instantly running over there tackling your child. Like get away from me, you demon child. Like mine.
Bro, you did not say that baby's gonna be a renegade. I have never heard somebody like actually call somebody.
That's it. The child is that's what I call them. These women are raising renegades out here. That's why we can have 3 young ladies get shot up out here. Because they hanging out and want to be with the thugs, because that's a thing. You got to ride with the thugs and the SRTs and do all these things, and make sure your coochie is clean. Whatever my rap supposed to be, I don't know, but it was going to be fire if I was to put it out there.
I was gonna say you was on to something. And Ashanti, I didn't want you to think I was ignoring your comment. Like I said, I don't know if I can type to respond to your comments because you're on Facebook. Is that not just me? It's like StreamYard does not like it does something weird with Facebook comments. Like,
what you mean?
So if I'm on StreamYard recording live, if on my laptop, like I can only, how do I say this? I can really only make comments through my YouTube. Like I can't make comments through my
I don't know why yours
part.
do that, because if I write a comment now, it's gonna go to YouTube and Facebook.
See, that's so weird. I don't know why mine does. I'm gonna have to see if I can fool with some settings. But she said Chrisean is on live right now working out in the gym. She's so weak. She's just a weirdo. She's just a weird cat, man.
It went to both phones. It went to I put what's up.
It did. I see it. Yeah, I see that it went on yeah, I could tell Ashanti's on Facebook. It says that Ashanti, like it'll say it says that you're on Facebook. That's why I was like, well, if I type the comment, I don't think she'll be able to see it. But
and then it might like I said, you might have to just type it in and pay attention the next time you do it or whatnot. But I also don't follow Chrisean, so I don't know.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I was just she was talking about Chrisean working out in the gym.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have seen that till she, wouldn't have known that till she told us.
Hold on, Chrisean.
Try her Instagram. I know when I had put that video of her on my video on
she got a blue check mark.
I'm pretty sure I'm sure she does, but I'm trying to see what her name on there is.
Maybe this is it. No, that ain't got about 1,000 followers. I know she got more than 1,000. She got to probably be. I think it's ended now. Oh, well, what's her name on IG? Ashanti. Chrisean. Yeah, because ain't none of these got no blue checks by her. Chrisean. Am I typing her name in wrong?
Okay, so it's Chrisean.
So that is her. Why she got no blue check by her name?
I have no idea. Now that you say that, but yeah, she got like 4.8 million followers. This is definitely her.
Yeah, this woman is definitely a crackhead.
Full blown, bro.
And she keep talking about her music. Like nobody's listening to your music, Chrisean. Hang it up. You and Blueface never need to make music ever again. Both.
Yes, that's what's crazy. Like, how are both of y'all like for instance, you mentioned Cardi B. Now you know me, of course, I just don't typically like those types of artists because I know how much detriment they do. But I would be lying if I said, Cardi B definitely has popular songs, catchy songs, songs that even people who maybe don't even listen to rap would probably know. Like, I like it. I know people hit, and of course, that's a sampling of a song that already sounds like that. But I'm just saying, like, but with Chrisean and Blueface, it's like, it just goes to show how bored, like, sometimes we just to the point where anything that's just drama, like, just cuss somebody out, throw something at somebody, hit somebody, like you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing that can entertain us now. Like, I don't know, it's just so weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, this man on here having a baby. She's having a baby, and her baby dad is with his other family on live too while she's having a baby. It's some wild stuff. This is wild.
We in the Wild West. We in the Wild West.
Yeah, this is a Wild West, the wild west right now. And like I said, no, I don't. It's weird that nobody sees nothing wrong with this.
Right.
In our community, nobody's like, it should be a call to arms when it comes to situations like this. Like, we should get to a point where we say, hey, this is not going to be portrayed as a black relationship or what black family looks like. But like I said, this is all I see down my timeline. This crazy ass girl having a baby on live. And then somebody said something that was real. And this happened to me. I have 2 children. They don't even let you record when you're giving birth. Then why the fuck did they let Chrisean record her giving birth on live? Think about that.
Most
hospitals would not let you record. Go ahead.
I was just about to say, maybe it's not across the board. Maybe that rule is only like, maybe some hospitals are like that, and maybe some aren't. But I think it's interesting you mentioned how when you first
I'm
this,
gonna ask you this: how many people you seen give birth on live in the hospital?
Now, on live in a hospital, I don't think I've ever seen that. I'm shocked it doesn't happen more often. But I think this is the first time I've ever seen somebody go live whilst having a baby.
Okay, so that's my point. Like, this is the first time I've ever seen somebody live having birth. Now, I have seen women give birth in hospitals, and then even the videos that I seen is typically like when the baby's about to get ready to come out, they don't ever show like the vagina or nothing like that. They just like show her face with, like, if she's getting a C-section, they have the little sheet up and she's crying or something like that. But it's never really like kind of like how Chrisean and them was. It was weird.
And another thing too, said, this goes back to your point from earlier. And Ashanti, believe it or not, now this is gonna show, when people don't believe how dedicated I am to avoiding reality TV, how I have avoided reality TV basically my entire life. I never watched 16 and Pregnant, not once. But anyway, it goes back, said, to your original point about how the brick girl. So we were talking about the brick lady.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are these women, and of course it's not just women, but let's admit it's a feminine concept. If a man were doing these things, we would say he's a little bent wrist, because it's something feminine about feeling the need to document every aspect of your life anyway. But also, you have to realize you're diminishing the power of a moment by doing something on live. If you were genuinely hurt and saddened and frightened and shook up and all these types of things by getting hit by a brick with a man, the first thing you would do is not to pull out your phone, extend it from your face, hold it in such a way, at such an angle to where they can see your face, walk around with it and turning in all this type of stuff, showing us in real time what you're doing. You would be talking to the police, filing a police report. You would be somewhere inconsolable, right? Same way with Chrisean. Even if I wanted to believe that this moment was as monumentous as other people want it to be, I can't, because it's like, bro, you live streamed it. Like, you told somebody to, then one time, y'all, because I think she might have had the phone on some sort of tripod, because the little part that I saw was before she started really, really pushing. Like, she had maybe done a couple pushes, but the phone was kind of turning a little bit. And I saw her move her hand and turn it back so that she was back in the center, so that she was back in the focus. How that to me, just, that's why nobody takes y'all seriously.
How can you focus on your phone that much while giving birth to? Like from what I seen, it ain't no way possible. You should. You know what? This is a perfect thing. I understand now how that lady can get hit with a brick and still talk and record. Because if Chrisean can help push a whole baby out her cootie pop and still be talking and holding the phone and changing camera angles and stuff like that while giving birth, a brick ain't nothing to the face. Everybody, Jazz, you could take a brick to the face. I ain't saying you want to, but I'm telling you, from what I seen with that baby come out of there and tearing everything up, nah, a brick ain't nothing. That's a drop in the bucket there.
Well, Ashanti, she didn't. At least the part that I saw, I only saw. When I do this stuff, I do just enough for research purposes. The part that I saw, it wasn't showing anything inappropriate. It just was, you know how if you got your phone sitting on something and whatever it is, it might start to slide. That's all it was. It just started to veer away a little bit. She made sure she turned that camera right back. And I get it. Of course, in that moment, she's already committed to it, right? She's already committed to showing her fans this process, and she knows that she is who they want to see. But my issue is, why would you think that this is an appropriate thing to do? It's just clearly clout chasing. She wanted to live stream it because she wanted to show us that Blueface was not there. She knew that that was going to cause such a buzz. Oh, where's Blueface? Where's Blueface? Whereas you could have just had your baby, let that be a private, beautiful moment, even though I say beautiful with an asterisk by it, but it could have been beautiful for her, I guess. But no, you had to make a spectacle of it.
Because one can't live without the other. That just their career is hanging on a thread with each other. If Blueface is not around Chrisean ever, and that's why she had the baby. Like I do believe she never thought, if she thought that aborting the baby would still get her that relevancy, she would have done it. But she knows now what other dynamic will it play out for them to make money if they don't have a child. Just think about the dynamic of now Blueface going to have that child over there with the other baby mama. She's gonna have an issue with that. Oh, you taking my child around your other bitch, and no, this is gonna be a lot more drama pertaining this child. Her not letting him see it, him not being a good daddy, he's not being involved. Like, it's going to be so many things that you could spin off and involve a child. And it's crazy that people are doing this with their children and putting their children up to be spectacles or to make money. Well, some kids just want to live a normal life. I don't want to be in the spotlight, and you making this decision for me before I'm even able to talk, walk, feed myself. You know, you're making a big decision about my life and putting me out there before I even
because people are ruthless. It's this one content creator. I used to like her a lot more, and then she kind of became just way too woke for me, and it was annoying. But I actually do the few times I get on Instagram, I do still see her on there. And I can respect this about her. When she had a baby, she has not once posted that baby. Like, she has not posted a picture or video of that baby. She lets that baby have his privacy. Now, granted, that could be because maybe she don't think the baby is very cute. But whatever her reasoning is,
so you think the baby ugly?
I don't have any reason to think that. I'm just saying.
You saying the lady baby ugly?
I don't know. I'm saying
so is the lady cute? So is the lady cute?
You said what?
Is the lady cute? The lady had the baby.
She okay. Yeah, she okay. She not ugly. I promise. She's not ugly. She's like just kind of average looking. What I'm saying is, people so crazy, it wouldn't shock me if that's why she hasn't shown the baby. But I can at least respect it. The end justifies the means to me. Like, hey, whatever your reasoning is, it's just a good thing you're not showing the baby because.
I don't agree with showing my kids on. Like, I might post a picture here of, family picture here, but just having my kids just all up on, like, the most I post my kids recently this year was on Father's Day, and that was it. But just having my kids all up there on social media and stuff like that, no, because my baby, he said he want to start a podcast. I'm like, Trey, I don't think it's a good idea, and he want me to invite his friend over. They want to sit out, and I'm like, Trey, I can't protect you once you get on the internet. People say stuff. It's mean, it's a cruel world. You got to have thick skin. And I just don't think you're ready for it. And, and then it was crazy because I was like, maybe this is something. But we were walking in Lowe's when he was first born. And this guy, he was like, you ever thought about getting your son in like child modeling? And I was like, this is weird for a dude to be asking me about modeling my son.
Oh,
I
a
was like,
dude said that?
yeah, it was a dude. And he was like, he's a handsome young man. You should think about like child modeling. And my mind went to all like the crazy kids that grow up in Hollywood and they always talking about like them, sex and crazy shit. I'm like, nah, dog. Like, I can't
Yeah,
do it.
that's not. I'm not feeling that.
Yeah. And so, like I said, it's just weird that I'm seeing so many people using their children as, checks nowadays. Yeah, but it's not, I guess it's not nothing new. It's not nothing new, it's just a different form of it because, people are getting their kids with fake diagnosis to say that, their kids were slow so they can get a check. So, I guess it's about the same thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right back. Said.
All right. I'll whoop people out over my baby. Get ready to bail me out. Hell nah. So you gonna fight people over your baby, Ashanti? I just want to know you gonna fight people over your baby. I just think that at this point in life, it need to be some privacy. It need to be some time and place with us. Everything ain't meant for the internet, and everything ain't meant for everybody. Um, I just think that we need to. I just think we need to make sure we're protecting our children because it's weirdos out there. And we need to love our children better. I think people that ain't posting their kids and their children a lot, I think those are people that are genuinely trying to protect their children. Now, as they get older and they get their own phone and they post themselves, then it is what it is. But I just think we need to make sure that, we protect our children from the world. Like Drake said, I'm not hiding my child from the world. I'm hiding the world from my child.
I know
That's how
that's real.
that's how we need to be.
I know that's real. And that's the thing too. Like we all briefly, I know you did say and Ashanti seconded it. Um, but with the breastfeeding thing, like I remember some years ago, I'll never forget. This is probably the most flack I have ever caught on social media. Besides that, Lord, that was the Holy Spirit. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna say the other thing, but it's one of the times I have caught the most flack on social media was when I was talking about how I do think the overwhelming majority of women who breastfeed, in you know what I'm saying, whether it's in public or recording themselves, I think that it's for attention.
I
And boy, I got drugged for that. And I'm just thinking, what am I saying that's so hard to understand? Like, you do realize it's a private moment, right? They'll say, "Oh, it's natural." Well, pissing is natural. But if a man pulled out his penis and just started pissing, standing right next to you while y'all standing on the sidewalk, then he would get in trouble for indecent exposure.
right.
But you can whip out your titty and not bother to just put a slight cover or just go to your car real quick or have already pumped before you get to your location. And this is just physically in public breastfeeding. Not to mention the people that record themselves. That's just a whole other thing. You are literally recording yourself breastfeeding. And then they'll say, "Oh, it's to raise awareness." What do you mean awareness? People have been breastfeeding for millennia. It's a
Right.
thing. When you have a baby, unless there's some issue, milk comes, it forms in your breast. It's there. Your breasts get engorged and enlarging. You need to relieve yourself of the milk in there. It's a thing. So you're not bringing awareness to anything. You're just being a weirdo.
I agree. I don't think you're bringing awareness to any goddamn thing. You just want to, like I said, for the sake of putting y'all titty on on the internet, y'all just want to y'all want to do it in the name of breastfeeding. That's what it is. Just so you can put your titty out there, use your child, and you use breastfeeding. Like, and then the thing about it is, if you put it as educational on social media, they allow it.
Of course they will.
And I'm like, oh
The-
my God, how is this even allowed? Like some, like I said, and then what bothers me is as a man. Okay, so as a man dating a woman, right? I don't know what I should take as intimate or sacred or special anymore when it pertains to women. So breastfeeding. I don't like so many women try to act like breastfeeding is so intimate, it's sacred. It, the mother's milk is the nourishment of my baby, is keeping him alive or them alive. Or sex. Now, when it comes to having a birthing a baby, now, we're birthing children, and I put my body through this rigorous, experiment or experience, and I rip and tear and I gain all this weight and I do this and did that, and that, my feet swole, and you did so much changes came to my body, but then the next minute it's like, yeah, I had 7 abortions, and it's like, I don't know what is it sacred because you're pregnant now? Like, should we cheer? Like, I don't like, or like sex. It's like, okay, you've had sex with all these men before me, and now we're having sex, and then you're coming to me and you're saying, what are we? And then I'm like, I thought I was doing the same thing as the other niggas, but for some reason you like me. I don't know how I feel about this, but I thought that pussy had a lot of miles on it, but you trying to act like it's classic. And so I don't know where I'm supposed to feel with a woman. Like, what is special with when it comes to a woman nowadays? Like
Just just assume that the answer to that question is whatever the woman you're asking says that it is, because that's all it's ever going to be. It's just going to be that women are going to move the goalposts. They're going to celebrate pregnancy termination. They're going to say it's not only a woman's right, but that it's an empowering thing to do, to be able to hold life and death in your hands that way. And then they're also going to equally say, oh, you guys don't realize the just the natural beauty and the monumentous occasion that it is for a woman to have a baby. Well, which one is it? Is it empowering to have a baby or to not?
Right.
Am I supposed to celebrate you having the baby or not? Because women have been doing both for a very long time. Obviously, as long as as human beings have been around. So, and then they'll do this thing where they want to normalize things, and they think that just putting it in front of us all the time. Now, I will say that does work for desensitization. Like, I think if you're a man and you maybe had never seen, like, for instance, said you mentioned when your wife had your children, it was quite a sight to see. But if you had seen that a whole bunch of times, at some point it would not, have that shock factor anymore. But women are trying to do this with things like you mentioned, weight gain, stretch marks, swollen ankles. They're trying to do that to beat men to the punch, essentially, not realizing that it's always going to be a little uncomfortable for the both of you when it happens. That's just what it is. It's going to be uncomfortable for you seeing yourself in the mirror with stretched skin, and it's going to be uncomfortable for him seeing you that way. I mean, it's just something you get past. It's something you work towards. You address it. You don't just have to just shy away from it. Tackle it head on. Maybe this is the time for you to try to find, maybe you take your skin elasticity more seriously. If you like, what is it called? Biograde collagen really is incredible for snapping people's skin back for anything, for whether you gain weight from pregnancy or whatever else. I'm just saying that to say maybe that's an opportunity you would take to learn more about natural remedies or whatever it could be. So they don't realize that they wouldn't have to stress so much about it if they quit having babies by the cute dude at the club. Like, if you had a baby by your husband, that's not to say that he wouldn't have to have his own struggles with your new body, but at least you would already be with somebody that loves and cares for you and has pledged his loyalty and allegiance to you, versus making those types of sacrifices and that level of adjustment to your life for the cute dude at the club.
And see, that's what that goes back to when I said, what do I take as sacred when it comes to my woman? Because as a man, if I know that you have put your body through all of this and risked your life to give me a son or a daughter, and you did this for me, then it makes me feel like I'm special to you and you're special to me, especially in the confines of marriage, right? But when it gets to the point when you're talking to women and they just act like the things that they do aren't sacred or is normal because they're trying to desensitize so many people, and then when you get into a relationship with them and then they want you to be teary-eyed over a situation, it's like, bitch, I don't know if you coming or going. Like, You said you killed 8 over here, and now I didn't even know we was gonna make it this far. Like I don't know. Like I'm surprised you made it this far. Like, cause 1 minute you said you killed 8, and now, like I said, now we back, and I'm supposed to be, oh my God, baby, I'm so it's so special. You had my baby. Like you let a lot of niggas, skeet in that thing and get you pregnant.
Every single pregnancy is not beautiful. You guys can clip me saying that. I'm saying it. In fact, not only is not every single pregnancy beautiful, the majority of pregnancies today are not beautiful. The idea of having a baby and being pregnant, y'all have taken the beauty from it. What used to be a gesture of love and commitment and our service to God, because God does call us to be fruitful and to multiply, because our purpose here on this earth is to serve him, the lot of us. So obviously the more of us we have, the more of us that can do that. So what used to be that, right? A consummation and procreation and replication of two people who have pledged their love to one another before God, before their friends and family. You've just bastardized it. You're just having babies. Half you don't know even who your child's fathers are. Thankfully, family court is finally starting to catch up in places like Florida and Texas. Surprise, surprise. But of course, most black people, because who are most black Democrats? Most black Democrats are black women or black men who think like black women. So, of course, most black Democrats hate places like Florida and Texas, because every time they come up with new legislation, it goes against their leftist liberal ways. But those of us with IQs above 50 understand that family courts are archaic, and they have not caught up with the current social climate. The idea that a woman being divorced from a man, that you would automatically lean towards awarding her alimony and this kind of thing, that's coming from a patriarchal society that let y'all tell it we don't have anymore and that we don't need. So no. Same thing with child support. Same thing with, how was it ever a time where men were getting put on child support for children that they didn't even have DNA tests done for? Like, that
Right.
baffles me. Like,
You know
how is
what's
that legal?
you know what's crazy is I know they had to think of this when contraceptives were made, that women wouldn't be fucking like they fucking. They had to think about that, and so if it's baffling to think that y'all had what DNA tests became a thing in the early 90s, right? Like you could literally test children, and contraceptives were made like in the 19 like 50, something right around there. So you mean to tell me y'all got 40 years and y'all didn't think when the 90s were came up that y'all should DNA test these children, and y'all see which way these women are having sex nowadays? That is baffling that now Tennessee had to pass into law that you got to take a DNA test before you sign a birth certificate. Like that should be a no fucking brainer.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm so glad to see that. Like, truly I am. Because think about all the people who have been erroneously thinking that someone was their father for years, and it comes out that they weren't. Think about what that does to a child. Think about what that does to a man. I know that we don't live in a society that cares anything about the feelings of men, but I just so happen to be a person that does. And I recognize that that would destroy a person. That would destroy a person, to learn that you had invested and truly believe that this was your lineage, your seed, flesh of your flesh, if you will, and whole time it's your barber. It's his like.
I'm gonna say this. I know a lot of women have pushed back on DNA tests, but I'm glad they passing laws. But I'm gonna say this: the truth doesn't mind being questioned. As a matter of fact, if I'm telling the truth, I will be happy for you to question it, to show you that I am a truth teller. When
Oh yeah.
people are giving you pushback on something, especially something big as a child, and they just want you to take their word for it because you married them, and we see how marriages are going nowadays, you would be crazy just to take somebody's word on anything, right? You believe none of what you hear and half of what you see.
Okay now.
And like I said, the truth does not mind being questioned. So I think that's it for tonight. You got anything you want to tell the people before we get up out of here?
Yes, just that, just a little shameless plug. Please make sure to subscribe to the Tough Topics podcast if you are not already. We do talk tough topics over there, and we have a very good time. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Ashanti, my cousin Tisha, Chaos Rain, King Jers, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching, and those of you who are watching from Said's platform as well. Don't be a stranger, Said. I really enjoy doing it this way. I know a lot of times when we do podcasts together, it's just me physically being over in your studio, but this was cool too. And you guys just make sure that you know, ladies, everybody, contrary to popular belief, contrary to what social media suggests, everybody does not care about every single waking moment of your life. Every time you blink your eyes, every time you fart, every time you eat a piece of food, you don't have to document every single thing. And if you are documenting it for your own purposes, then, whatever. But it doesn't have to be for the entire world to see. Have your baby privately. Take pictures of the baby when they come out if you want to, but ain't no need to live stream your birth. Also, with the brick lady, you effed around and found out. I really don't know how else to word it there, but yeah, that's it for me.
Well, I want to tell everybody thank you. I want to tell Jazz for thank you for coming through again. It went way longer than I thought. Well, we had 2 hours. I said it was going to be 100 hours. So I want to tell you thank you for giving me this extra hour. I want to tell everybody that's watching from Jazz's platform, thank y'all for coming over here. Make sure y'all subscribe to the New Normal podcast. I want to tell everybody that I love y'all. I'm going to reiterate, the truth does not mind being questioned. It's the New Normal podcast, and we gone.